Okay, let's be for real for a sec. If your days feel like you're just running in circles, starting 10 things and finishing none, hello. That's not because you're bad at time management. That's because your brain is tired of task switching every 5 minutes. That back and forth, baby, heavy on the no. And that's what's draining you. So here's what you're gonna do instead. You're going to do some task batching. Okay, so I'm gonna break it down for you so that you can actually stop spiraling and actually feel like you're on top of your life. So let's get into it. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me for another video. This is Marquita from At Home with Kita, and here I share tips on how to plan a balanced life. So if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. So y'all, today's video, as you already heard, is all about task batching. It has completely changed things for me. I implement it within my weekly routine and it is so helpful. So I'm gonna share with you guys today exactly how I do that. This is the smart girl hack that nobody told us in school. Think of batching tasks like a reset button for your brain. Instead of playing mental ping pong all day, you group similar tasks together, lock in and run through them like a playlist. And don't trip, you don't need a 20-step planner routine or some fancy software to make this work. You can start with the tools you already have, okay? Your planner, your inserts, or your phone. And we're gonna share 3 ways, okay? Because we like options. And as always, sharing is caring. So I'm gonna break down each of these 3 ways for you so that you can see which way may work best for you. So as always, let's get on over to my overhead view so I can show you all the things. Okay, let's talk about the first way to do task batching, which I feel like is probably one of, or if not the most popular way. And that's just by using an insert. You can just pop an insert in your planner that says task batching on it and then go to town. But I'm gonna break it down for you, of course, a little bit more so you can see how this would actually work for you, okay? So as always, we have inserts in our shop that cover pretty much everything, okay? So this is no different. This is our task batching insert, and I love how clean and simple it is. You literally can't mess this up. It actually looks like this in terms of the lines, and then I highlighted each of the categories so that way I could see it clearer and it would stand out a little bit more so from the other wording. Okay, so as you can see, I have everything categorized. So this is by category, which is a great way to do your task batching, of course, because it's just the most self-explanatory way. So all of this would fit into your day potentially, or when you're working within that specific category, you can pick a few things. It just depends on how much time you have during the day and how much you want to get accomplished. But this is kind of how that would look. So everything is broken down by category. So I have office and computer work. These are all the tasks associated with that. And then I have calls and communication. So you want to make sure that you're grouping those tasks by that category, okay? That's the way that this whole thing makes sense, right? And then I have quick tasks, so things that take less than 10 minutes. I have my creative window or my creative category, and then my household category. So again, all of this will be completed during the course of a day. This is just how you're breaking it down. So you're thinking of it kind of like a playlist of your life. So instead of going from answering emails to scrubbing dishes to graphic design, you kind of hit play on one batch or one category and you kind of let that ride until it's done. And so this is really kind of where you start moving more surgically, if you will, okay? And these inserts really just help you to break down everything. And again, since it's by category, your brain isn't trying to juggle different energies at once, okay? It's just doing whatever's within that category, and then you're going to move on to the next category. You're not going to bounce back and forth between the different things, okay? While you're in your office and computer work, you're going to sit there and you're going to do all of your office and computer work, okay? Otherwise, the point of this whole thing is moot. I mean, there's no reason to plan like this if you're not going to stick to this, okay? It's just so genius in how it kind of keeps your mind focused on one thing. Okay, so if you're doing your computer work, your office work, you're doing, you know, all of these different things. You're replying to email, updating your spreadsheets, and this is going to look different for everybody. So it just all depends on what your category is. I'm just giving you some ideas of what that could look like for you. I think that giving examples is always a good idea. It's helpful for me when I see a video where someone kind of writes in everything as opposed to just me doing a video showing you a blank page. or even writing it in on camera. Sometimes that doesn't always resonate with me. I want to see it pre-filled in and then talk me through the reasoning behind it. Okay, so this is one way to do your task batching. I feel like this is a great way, a very simple way, because you can literally just pop this in your week. Let's say you don't want to task batch every single day, because I don't do it every single day. I try to do it the majority of the time because I just see such a value in it. But if you don't want to do it every single day, having an insert like this where you can just pop it right on in your planner is going to be the way to go. So as you can see from my work in social media, this is when I usually do my task batching. I have a work window during the day. So I have a certain number of hours throughout the day that I work. And within that work window, I task batch. Okay, so can you see how that makes sense, especially if you work outside the home, or even if you have a business like I do, how task batching could just help you to not be so scatterbrained. You know, sometimes I feel like going from this to that to this to that is just way too much, and I end up getting very little accomplished. And again, we're showing you 3 ways. So yes, from time to time, I will pop this insert in, and this serves as my task batching, but I'm gonna show you 2 other ways that incorporate task batching into your daily calendar. So that way, you know, if an insert like this doesn't necessarily work for you to pop in during your week, you're actually planning your week based around task batching, which is also a flex. Love that for you, okay? So remember to watch this whole video. Make sure you watch this whole video so you can see the other 2 ways. This is just the one way. So this is kind of how that looks for me in terms of my task batching. I have a 3 category task batching system because when I'm working, it's typically going to be those 3 things. It's going to either be content, creation, or office tasks. Okay, so this is kind of how that would look for me. Again, if I pop it in and if I use an insert like this, this is how that would look for me. But I incorporate it into my planner, and I'm going to show you how I do that as well. Okay, so that is way number 1, which is just as valuable as the other 2 ways I'm going to show you, but I want to give you 3 ways so that you can figure out which way is going to work best for you. So keep in mind way number 1. Okay, so let's move on to the second way. And y'all, I'm low-key thinking that I might try this in my planner next week. I know I use a specific layout, which you'll see, but y'all, I think this might be the solution for me in terms of being just more intentional. And again, yes, we task batch, but I do it a different way. And that's going to be the way that I show you last. But when I started writing this in, I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at it. I am not mad at this way. And I'm curious to see how much more this makes me productive, because as you all know, on this channel is all about helping you to be productive, helping you to plan your days that work the best for you to be the most efficient, the most best, the most awesome person that you can be, okay? And it's all about trying different things. So baby, if I got to try something different to make myself better, a win is a win, okay? That's the real flex, is being adaptable and being willing to see where you can maybe make some improvements, okay? And so I'm thinking about this. By the way, I love this layout. Again, I'll post everything for you guys below so that you can see all of the various layouts. We have a ton of layouts. I think we have 19 layouts, okay? It's a hybrid. So the other half of the spread looks like this. I took it out because I just literally popped in one page. Look at how beautiful that looks. This is our vertical weekly on 2, vertical on 2. Love this layout, y'all. This is a game changer layout for what I'm about to show you right now. Yes, you can just plan your day out and just write all your tasks for that particular day that are just grouped by nothing specific. There's no category involved. It's just all of your tasks, as with all of our layouts. But y'all, when you do it like this, I have a feeling that this might make me the most productive possible, because you're literally focused on one thing per day. Whereas this one, this is your whole entire day. Yes, you're breaking things down by category, but all of this is something that you're doing in one day, okay? And so that might still be a little bit overwhelming. Listen, you choose what works best for you. And at the end of the day, this one, you have to also decide if it's practical for you, because you may not just be able to only do admin tasks in a day. You got other things you need to do. And yes, you will do your normal daily, you know, mom duties and things like that if it falls on one of these days. But when it comes to the bulk of your work, this is how it's going to look. Okay, so this is batch tasking using, or this is batching your tasks using your weekly planner spread. Okay, you already got your planner spread. You don't got to get nothing new, do nothing new. All you have to do is just rework some things, okay? So your weekly spread can be just the thing that you need. And it could be straight up gold for task batching. It's like your GPS, basically, your life's GPS. This is what that is for you, the big picture, but it's still broken down by days. So instead of randomly throwing tasks around like confetti, child, you're going to theme your days. So each day gets a vibe and you're going to stick with it. So as you can see, Monday would be my admin day, okay? And this is all interchangeable. Let's say you want to do deep work on Monday. It's up to you, okay? So admin day, and these are the various tasks associated with that. And you want to make sure that it all fits within that category. So that would be things like clearing your inbox. And make sure you take a screenshot of this because I wrote it on purpose, just like I wrote this on purpose, just to give you an idea of some things that you can include for the various categories. So screenshot this bad boy, okay? And of course, I'll probably post it on my social media as well, because I work very well when I see people's planner and it has things written in, like I said earlier, because it just gives me an idea of what I can write in. So that's why I try to be very intentional and making sure all of this makes sense, okay? So all of these tasks are associated with a typical person's admin day. So you would, answer emails, maybe you send invoices, check payments, pay something, you return client calls, organize things, organize files, review your planner. All of that falls within admin. Okay, and then back that thing up. Tuesday would be a creative day. So you do all things associated with being creative. So maybe that involves content creation, batch filming, writing your captions, your blog posts, brainstorming ideas, designing graphics, making a newsletter, recording a podcast. All of these things are associated with creativity. Okay, whatever that means for you. I'm a content creator, so those would be tasks associated with my creativity. All right, Wednesday could be maybe your errand day. Okay, so you're going to grab your groceries, you're going to do your store returns, you're going to drop off your packages, you're going to pick up things from the pharmacy, maybe you got to wash your car, do an oil change, maybe you have a doctor's appointment. All of those things are on your errand day. So can you see how this could really make you the best person ever? I mean, the most, from the outside looking in, it seems like you got it all together. Now, you might be struggling with some other things. I can't help you with that, okay? I'm just talking about getting it all done. And this could be such an easy way to be able to just have a structured day without being all over the place. And again, you're going to pop in a couple of other tasks, because I have to do homework with Addison. That's just done every day. She has piano on Thursday. So of course that's not deep work, but I got to do it. You know what I mean? So, and again, for me, this is all my work window. So you also want to consider that. So when you're creating something like this, are all these tasks pertaining to work? Are they all pertaining to home, or are they both? Think about that too. Okay. So Thursday might be your deep work day where you do your bigger things, your presentations, your goal planning, your bigger projects. Maybe you have a new launch. You want to work on some long form content. All of that can be done on the deep work day. I love these categories. So again, that's why I said screenshot it, because you may want to just implement these same exact categories. All right. Then Friday could be maybe your flex day. So you could use that day to finish up on things that you didn't finish during the week. Maybe you want to do some light admin work. You want to organize some things. You want to reset your planner, review your week. It is Friday after all. And maybe do some things like meal prepping, groceries, and things like that. I mean, this is up to you with what you want to include for that particular day. Okay. And then maybe Saturday is your rest or your reset and recharge day. So you do things like laundry, meal prep, you reset spaces, you do self-care, and you spend time with your family. And then Sunday could be maybe your soul and strategy day. So maybe you do your Bible reading and devotion. You journal, you review your wins, what didn't work. So make sure that you don't bring that into the next week. Maybe you update your budget, you plan your top 3, you schedule your workouts, okay? Maybe you do some light prep like lunches and laying out clothes, and you do a relaxing activity. Can you see how this could really work well? And so I might implement this for next week, and maybe I'll do a recap and share with you guys how it all worked for me. But I just see that how genius this could be. And so that's why I love sharing multiple different ways, because again, maybe this way may not work for you. Maybe this is too much to all do in one day. Yes, it does program your brain to not be all over the place, but you might say this is team too much. I need to just focus on one thing on one day and sprinkle in my other tasks. Okay. So again, this is option 2. Love this as an option, and low key thinking about doing this as an option. We'll see, because I can see how this just instantly could make me feel calmer instead of waking up already stressed. I am stepping into a theme. Okay, it's giving order and it's giving clarity. And with your planner laid out in front of you is going to help you just to see it all like this. And you're able to kind of just drag and drop your to-do list into the right day that feels right. And so it's kind of like a puzzle and the pieces are matching up perfectly. Okay, so think of it like that. And this way might be just what you need, okay? So I'm gonna show you the third way, and this is the way that I use right now. And I've always said this on my channel, but my mind works in zones, okay? That's why I do zone cleaning. That's why this works so well for me. And so this could be the thing, the switch up that I need. Again, we are gonna try this and see how it works out for me, but I'm gonna show you how my planner is set up currently. So this is my current spread. And y'all, let me just be honest for a quick second. I started out using this spread because I told you guys my mind works in weeks, but it is still categorized, okay, to some degree, okay? Within each section of this planner, everything is categorized. So this is still a method of task batching because I'm still doing this set of tasks within a certain window, this set, and so on and so forth. So it is still grouped that way. But I just felt like I needed something different. I go through phases. And so this is our vertical, we have so many different layouts, vertical line layout. And this is our subject style layout because this is what goes so well with block scheduling, or not block scheduling. It's kind of block scheduling, but this is what goes so well with task batching. So I'm kind of considering this a block schedule sort of layout. So I'm going to remove this, even though it's called our subject style layout. It's kind of like block scheduling because you have blocks. Okay, these are all different blocks in different days that you're doing these different blocks of activity. And that's just how my mind works. Look at how clean and beautiful it is. Y'all see how simple my planning has gotten over the years? Sis don't be using that many stickers anymore. She just let the pen do the talking, okay? And so if you're somebody that thrives on structure, block, and all of these give structure, okay? This might be a little bit more structured. Block scheduling is that girl. It's not just about grouping tasks. It's about putting your tasks in their place. And sometimes you may even have a timeline. So maybe, if you use a different layout that's kind of block scheduling that is going to have the same concept, it might have some time slots. Okay, sis, don't work that well with time slots. I like to just have a block of tasks. I have a time period and I do it within that time period. Okay, so there are two ways that you can use this layout, exactly how I have it laid out here. So let's talk about that for a little bit. So basically I have all the different categories here off to the side. So I have my YouTube categories. When I'm doing my YouTube stuff, I'm focused on that. I'm filming, I'm editing, I'm uploading, boom, that block is done. And then my fancy plans code stuff typically is going to involve 3 videos per day, sometimes more. And I go ahead and film all of that content and I will most likely upload it. I may not hit post, but at least it's there and available for me and ready for me. And then I have a few other tasks that I want to get done during the day. And so I spread all of my tasks throughout the week based on urgency in the day that it needs to get done, okay? And so I do all of that within this time frame. And then we move on to at home with Keita tasks. All of these things are done in one sitting. Does that make sense? That's why task batching is so amazing. You're doing it all in the same time span. Okay, you're not going from here to here to here to here to here. You are staying right here in this box. And you're doing all the tasks in that box, and then you're moving on to the next box. That's why I love this layout. It screams organized. It screams, I got my life together. It screams, we're not all over the place. We sticking to the box, and then we're moving on to the next box, okay? So that's why I love this layout. And it just helps me to just know I'm not here. I'm nowhere over here. I'm right here. Stick to the plan. Okay, of course you're reviewing all this, and if something comes up that used to be not so urgent that you need to push to become more urgent, you need to move some things around, you can do that. You want to make sure that you're flexible, but for the most part you stick it in the slot, in the block. Okay, so food and fit, I'm doing all this stuff in that one sitting. Even if, again, I'm not hitting post on the content, I'm doing the content. This, I'm doing this. This, I'm doing this. You see what I mean? You see how genius this is? Then I'm done with that. Then I'm moving on to Tuesday and I'm doing the same exact thing. So you can categorize it here off to the left like I did, or you could take this thing further and you can, well, I won't say further. You could just make it a different look. And I almost want to low key map it out for you real quick, but I feel like that would be too much because it's not that deep. Basically what you're going to do is instead of writing in the categories here, you're going to put times here. So you're going to put maybe 8 to 10 a.m. Then you're going to do maybe 10 to 11 a.m. Then maybe 11 to 12, 1 to 3, 3 to 4, whatever works for you. And then within that time span block, because it's a time block now. And all of this, again, is a time block for me too. I just have it mentally. I know, from whatever time to whatever time. And I'm not such a stickler to time, if I'm honest. But if you are and you want to block out things by a time, then you would say, again, 8 to 10 a.m., you're doing your deep work. So what are those tasks associated with deep work during that 8 to 10 window? You'd write that here on Monday. Okay, same thing for this, 8 to 10. What are those tasks? And sometimes it may not be a theme like deep work. Maybe it's just, similar tasks, but whatever that means for you or however that looks for you is what you want to do. I do recommend trying to stay within a theme because, again, it just helps you to not be all over the place. If you're bouncing from home tasks to work tasks to social media and all that stuff, it's going to be confusing and you're going to be all over the place. And that defeats the purpose of this whole thing. So I would recommend trying to stick to a theme if possible. You're just writing the time over here so that you know within that time frame, these are the things that you're doing. Okay, does that make sense? So that way you're not bouncing around like a pinball. You're moving through the zones. Okay, you're moving through. And when you block and when the block ends, you switch gears and you'll have no guilt because you already gave it the time it deserves. Okay, you already said from 8 to 10, that's what you're going to do. You already said from 10 to 11, this is what you're going to do. Move on, sis. Okay, you should be planning in a way to where it's not overwhelming and it's very much realistic for you. So that's something else that you want to make sure to consider. Is this realistic for you? If you're jamming too much within an 8 to 10 a.m. period of time, that's the problem. You want to make sure that you split things up. You divide them within each one of these blocks realistically. Okay. Otherwise you're doing too much. You're doing too much. This should be realistic for your lifestyle. Okay. So I did switch over to this layout for this week and I low key ain't mad at it. Again, I might try the other one that I just showed you, and all of this is interchangeable. So even if you want to, use some of the methods, like the category method is pretty much this. It's just putting it on your weekly calendar. You know what I mean? So it's all pretty much the same thing. It's just almost a different insert or a different look based on how you like things organized. And this is what's most effective for me. So I work between certain hours of the day, and this is everything that I do between that time frame on that specific day. You feel me? And I'm very intentional with what I can handle in a day. And I can't do that for you. You have to do that for yourself. You have to decide what that looks like for you. Okay, so let's recap this thing. Okay, and again, I'll put all the inserts in the description so that way you can pick up what may be beneficial to you. And I'm going to pop this back in. Okay, once again, the first method, which is probably the most popular, which is just popping in an insert in your planner and just breaking everything up by category. So each of these tasks pertain to all the various categories. You're going to tackle as much as you can of this throughout the day. The point here is to just make sure when you're in your office computer window or category, you're only doing those tasks. Then when you move on to your calls and communication or whatever the category is for you, you're only doing those tasks. You're not bouncing around all over the place, okay? And then secondly, which again is a way that I'm thinking maybe I may want to try next week, we'll see, is to do task batching by day. So Monday would be this, Tuesday would be this, Wednesday would be this, and maybe you'd pop in some other tasks because of course you have life tasks that may not pertain to admin, but the bulk of your work is going to be whatever you have categorized here. And then everything else, maybe your schedule, you got to run a quick errand or do something else. If you have to do it on that particular day, then yes, of course, do it on that day. But you do have an errand day. So really the point here is to be able to map things out in a way to where if it's due on that particular day, it should kind of pertain to whatever that category is. And if it doesn't, then you just do it on that day. Okay, don't overthink it. All right, so this is the second way, and this is a very, very popular way to do the task batching method. And I think again, I'm going to try this out to see if it's something that could work for me. So here is the third way, which is the way that I'm doing now, which is a time blocking sort of method. You can use this insert 2 ways or do it 2 ways. You can write in the category here and then go ahead and start to add to your blocks, or you can put a time frame here and you know, from 8 to 10, I'm doing this. From 10 to 11, I'm doing this, and so on and so forth. Now, again, mentally, I know the time for this stuff, and it's just a lump sum of time. It's not from 8 to 10, from 10 to 11. It's just from this time to this time, I'm getting all of this done. So those are the 2 ways that you can do it, whichever way works best for you. You got to decide, how you want to do this thing, because again, I just feel like it's so much value in blocking out your day and task batching like this, that it's worth a try to see if it can make you even that much more productive. And that's the key here, is to just be more productive. Okay, if you feel like you haven't been able to really get things done, try something new. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Try something new, baby, okay? And see if that works out for you, all right? So those are the 3 ways that you can do some task batching. All right, so batching is basically the antidote to chaos. As you can see, it's how you go from I'm drowning to I got this handled. And the beauty, you don't have to overhaul your life. You can start small, theme one day, create one insert, batch one thing, block out one day, okay? Once you see how much calmer and in control you feel, baby, you'll be hooked. It's giving structure without being extra. It's giving lazy girl efficiency. It's giving I actually have time for myself now. Bottom line, baby, batching equals less stress plus more done, okay? So try this out this week and watch how fast your vibe shifts. All right. So thank you guys so much for joining me for today's video. This 3 ways time batching is so helpful for me. I choose one way that works for me depending on the week. So you choose one way that works for you depending on your lifestyle. Okay. All the inserts that I mentioned are linked below just in case you want to grab them and use them within your planner system to help you be the most productive you possible. That's why this channel is here. I want you to win. All right. So thanks again for joining me for today's video. Hopefully you'll give me a thumbs up. That's how I know that you love the content I produce here. The only way I'll know is by you commenting and liking this video. So make sure to do that so I know and I can keep it coming, okay? I also hope that if you're new here, you'll consider subscribing to my channel. And as always, come on back by and catch another video, in which case I'll see you guys then.